Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and just stick around. Also, if you need any help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, small group coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever your needs may be. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. You can click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why you may be receiving breadcrumbs from your specific person. I have actually identified 3 main reasons why this might be happening. And as you watch the video, chances are, if you're in this situation with your specific person, that you might identify with at least one of those reasons, or it might be more than one reasons. It might even be all 3 of them. So I'm going to discuss all of them. And I'm also going to discuss what you can do to turn the situation around so that your specific person can actually feel more things for you and they become more open to coming forward and actually giving you all the things that you want and all the things that you deserve. So stay tuned. So the first reason as to why you might be receiving breadcrumbs from your specific person, and by the way, that goes for all manifestations, not just specific person manifestations, but it's very common, very common when it comes to SPs, okay? So the first reason is that you are placing too much importance on the actual manifestation and you are relying on the manifestation for your happiness. In other words, you're depending on them, you're depending on manifesting your specific person and that relationship with them in order to feel happy. You're either telling yourself or you're feeling that, and you might be feeling that deep down. You might not even be super conscious about that. But it might be a deep down feeling that if I don't have that manifestation, if I don't have that relationship with this specific person, I'm not going to be happy. Or the opposite of that, the reverse of that could also be until I get that manifestation, until I get that relationship, or until I get the relationship in the level that I want it to be, I'm not going to be happy. All these things can be very detrimental for a manifestation, especially when it comes to a specific person. And the reason for that is, if you are coming from such a place of lack, such a place of neediness of that relationship to feel happy, if you're relying so much on that relationship for your happiness, present and future, you actually tend to react very negatively and unfavorably, both on the 3D level and on the subconscious level. And what do I mean by that? You tend to take things much more personally. Whatever they say or do or don't say or don't do, you take it so personally. You think it's meant to hurt you. It's meant to say and to mean that they don't care about you. It's meant to say that they're not interested in you. They don't prioritize you. You take everything very personally. You tend to react much more badly. You tend to start arguments. And in general, you tend to interpret everything they do or don't do or say or don't say from a place of fear. You're fearing that you're not going to have this relationship. You're fearing they're going to reject you. You're fearing you're going to lose them. You're fearing they're never going to give you what you want and what you deserve and what you most long for. And all these things, all these feelings, all this energy actually comes from a place of lack, from a place of neediness, from a place of obsession. And that's what you end up pushing out. And by pushing all this out, guess what? You are creating an energy, both on the 3D level and on the subconscious level, that is very repelling for the other person. And that person actually tends to mirror that back in ways such as giving you breadcrumbs, not prioritizing you, not taking you into account, not including you in their plans, perhaps not wanting to commit to you, not wanting to be exclusive to you, perhaps dating other people or talking to other people on social media. In other words, they mirror it back by not giving you their full and undivided attention, energy. They don't prioritize you. They don't make you number one in their life. But in any case, they don't commit to you. They're not devoting themselves to you, and they're not coming forward in a way that is satisfying for you. So if that's one of your issues, how can you actually fix that? How can you actually turn things around so that your specific person can start to come forward in a much better way, as a much better version of themselves? Simply, you need to realize that you do not need them or anyone for your happiness. You were born whole, you were born complete. Everything you need, everything you want, everything you deserve is already within you. And every person that comes into your life is actually someone you choose, not someone you need, someone you choose, someone you've made a choice on to actually add to your wholeness, to add to your completeness. But you definitely don't need them to make you complete. You don't need them to make you happy. You don't need them to give you the things that you deserve and that you want. You're already whole and you're already complete as it is. You don't need anything or anyone to actually complete you. They can add to what you already have, to your completeness and your wholeness that you already have, but you don't actually need them. As I said in last week's video as well, they're not a necessity, they're a choice. So once you understand that, once you understand the difference between the two, it's a very distinct difference, you will actually feel much better and you will start realizing that you need to see things from a different perspective. You will start seeing things from a different perspective. And chances are that you will also start responding to things differently, reacting to things differently, perceiving things differently, and that can only help your manifestation. The second very common reason, which often goes hand in hand with that first point I just discussed, is your own self-concept in relation to them and to your relationship with them. So it's very likely that in some way or another, on some level or another, you see yourself as less than them. You see yourself as being unworthy of them, as undeserving of them. You feel like you need to do things to win them over, that you need to prove your value to them. You may see yourself, you may find yourself doing things for them, for example, giving them gifts all the time, or trying to be there for every little thing for them, or supporting them way too much in everything that you may perceive as a problem they're facing or a situation they're facing. You try to be there, you just try to text them and call them all the time to ask how things went and just to establish your presence and support them and all that. On the outset, there's nothing wrong with actually being supportive to your person. There's nothing wrong with wanting to give to them. However, be careful with one thing, because a lot of the time when we have a very low self-concept in relation to our person and in relation to our relationship with them, these things and these actions, they usually come from lack. They don't come from a place of unconditional love. They don't come from a place of confidence. They don't come from a place of, I want to give to them because I want to give to them, for the joy of giving, for the pleasure of giving. They come from a place of, I'm going to give them because I'm hoping to receive something back. I'm going to give them a gift, even if there's no reason to give them a gift, because I'm hoping this way they're going to love me more and they're going to appreciate me more. Pay a lot of attention to what I'm saying. This is a very, very common behavior, and it comes from lack, and it comes from neediness, and it doesn't actually come from genuine, pure intentions of love. It comes from a neediness to receive validation. It's very, very different to actual unconditional love. You may think that you're being very supportive to them. For example, if they're going through a rough phase with their work, with their business, or with some other area of their life, and you're there for them, and you do things for them, and you text them and call them, and try to show that you're supportive. But if your actual interior motive is not to give from unconditional love, and the actual intention deep down is to gain validation and to actually prove your value to them and make them love you more and win them over, they're going to receive that subconsciously, and what they're going to mirror back to you is actually something that you might perceive as ungratefulness. They will show you that you're actually not very welcome in their life. They might not respond to your texts as much. In one way or another, they will not show appreciation for what you did for them. And the reason that happens is not necessarily because they're not an appreciative person. It's not necessarily because they're a bad person or ungrateful or whatever, but it's because your energy, what you are communicating subconsciously, and sometimes also on the 3D level, is an energy of, I need your validation. I'm doing things to win you over. I'm doing things to prove to you that you need me in your life, that you want to have me in your life. I'm trying to prove my value to you. And all this comes from a very low self-esteem, a very low self-concept. It comes from neediness. It comes from a sense of I'm not worthy of them. I have them on a pedestal. They feel unattainable to me. So I feel like I have to do and say things to win them over and to convince them to be with me. So the way to turn this around is to actually start working on your self-concept. Start seeing yourself as someone who is worthy, someone who is deserving of all the love in the world. Start seeing yourself as a catch, as someone who matters, as someone who can have whoever they want, as someone who other people would be lucky to have in their lives. And just start feeling like that person. Start getting into that persona. Start getting into the state of being that person. What would that person think? How would that person feel? How would they carry themselves? How would they talk? How would they act and how would they react and respond to situations and to circumstances? And start assessing your actions and all the things that you say and you do in terms of your deep down intention. So if you find that your deep down intention is to actually get validation, is to actually get your person's attention, is to actually try to prove your value, to try to win them over, to try to win their feelings, this is not coming from the right state. This is not coming from the right place. It's actually coming from the place that's opposite to what you want. And that's your indication that you need to go back to a healthier self-concept and embody a self-concept that is that of a confident person, that of a person who has what they want, who deserves and is worthy of what they want. And your specific person is not unattainable. Your specific person does not need to be on a pedestal. Your specific person is your equal. It's someone who can absolutely choose you. It's someone who can absolutely love to be with you. It's someone who can absolutely voluntarily prioritize you because they want to, because they would love to. So start seeing yourself as that person. Start cultivating a self-concept of that level, okay? And the third reason why your person might be breadcrumbing you is very simply that you might be dwelling too much on current 3D circumstances and or the old story. So if you're used to a version of them who is breadcrumbing you, who is not prioritizing you, who is not giving you what you want, not treating you the way you want to be treated, they may not be including you in their plans, they may only see you once in a while, they may not be committing to you, whatever it is, if this breadcrumbing that they're doing, if you keep dwelling on that, if you keep thinking about that and keeping it as your dominant state, keeping it as your dominant energy, you're going to keep pushing out more of it. You don't trust them to be able or willing to become a better version of themselves for you. You don't trust them to be able to give you more than just breadcrumbs. And you keep dwelling on that old story. You keep dwelling on these 3D circumstances and just repeating them to yourself and overthinking about them and overanalyzing them instead of actually dwelling on what you want. Instead of actually creating a new state in imagination where you and your specific person are actually in whatever your ideal relationship is. And that includes the opposite of breadcrumbing. That includes you being a priority, you being included in their plans, them planning their life around you, and so on and so forth. And what this may cause is that you may actually feel like you're failing in your manifestation, when in reality, all you're doing is you're dwelling on the current circumstances or on the old story, and you're just creating more of it. You're just establishing it more and more in the 3D reality. And you may not be realizing this is what you're doing, and instead interpreting what you see in the 3D as your manifestation failing. So what to do to turn this part around? Well, it's what I say in every video. You need to focus on a different state. You need to focus on a different reality. You need to focus on a new story. You need to focus on your specific person actually loving you, feeling loved by your specific person, feeling chosen, feeling wanted, feeling prioritized. How would that person feel? Who is right now prioritized by their specific person, chosen by their specific person, loved and wanted and cherished by their specific person. Who's that person? How is she thinking or how is he thinking? What are they doing? How are they acting? How are they reacting? How are they responding to everything that's happening? How are they feeling? How do they carry themselves? Again, saturate yourself in that state. And I've said that in other videos too. trust your specific person to be able and willing to be that change, to be that changed version of themselves, to no longer breadcrumb you. Because remember, they're always a mirror of your dominant inner states. They're probably mirroring something back to you that you still need to turn around within you. And once you do, once you genuinely feel the shift within, once you genuinely shift your perception, they're going to reflect that too, because they're your mirror. So saturate yourself in that new state, in that new story, in that new reality. Go wild with your imagination. Surrender yourself to your imaginal act. Don't be afraid. Just go for it and do it. Just dive into it with all you've got. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel and watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing all of you at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.